Hello and happy Friday! Welcome back to the Huddle. I'm your host, Maya Perez, and this is season 2. And we are back in studio! I hope you guys missed me because I missed you so much more. But alas, moving past all the heartfelt gushy mush from me, Super Bowl 60 just happened this past Sunday, and to no one's surprise, Bad Bunny was the highlight of the game. No, but serious, what a game! Who thought the Seahawks were going to beat the Patriots? Me? And they all doubted me. But for a quick recap, the first half had absolutely no touchdowns. It was pure field goals, and the score, 9-0. Let me repeat that, 9-0. Then Bad Bunny played his amazing set featuring Lady Gaga and Ricky Martin. I digress. Third quarter, we had, you guessed it, another field goal. Where are the touchdowns at, guys? In the fourth quarter, yes, they are. The Patriots finally got on the board in the fourth quarter, like wow. Final score was dun dun dun, 29-13 Seattle Seahawks. And guess who got MVP? Kenneth Walker III. He was on my fantasy team. I'm a huge fan of his. But I have to ask, Ariel, did you see this coming? Or was this a huge disappointment?
Thanks, Maya. And yeah, if you guys were on our Instagram, you would have seen that Kyle, me, and our buddy Ricky actually went to the Super Bowl. Actually, if you watched the last episode, we were in Radio Row doing an episode of The Huddle here. So we all saw the game, and it wasn't the best game, kind of how we predicted. I mean, for you, since you weren't on the episode last week, would you have predicted it to go that way, or did you think it would be a closer game?
I absolutely thought it was going to be like this. If you watch the Rams-Seahawks NFC Championship, you could see how hard they were playing. You could see the intensity. You knew that that was the Super Bowl because the Patriots, credit to them, they made it. They clearly were just outmatched in every aspect of the game by the Seahawks.
I think it was just the Seahawks defense because New England's defense was playing very good. And Christian Gonzalez had monster plays on both Raheem Shaheed and Jackson Smith-Njigba. But Drake May just looked absolutely flustered. He could not get his feet set. They were blitzing him about maybe 70% of the time, and he can never pick up that blitz. And it was like a safety or a corner blitz. Like you're supposed to look at it and be like, okay, I identify my protection. But I think, just as we said, it's like, can the Patriots offense match up to the Seahawks defense? And the answer, quite literally, was no.
I mean, yeah, exactly. We said last week, and I said this, the Patriots haven't played anyone nearly as good as the Seahawks this entire season, and they let them make the excuse because the original excuse was the schedule. They had an easy schedule. They weren't really that good of a team, but then they won every playoff game. And so people were like, oh, maybe it wasn't the schedule. They played top 5 defenses throughout the playoffs. What did their offense do the entire time? The most points they scored was against the Texans, I believe, and it was maybe 20.
And Drake May had like 5 fumbles that game.
Right, yeah. And so it's not like their offense looked great in the playoffs either. The best team they played in the regular season was the Bills. They beat them once, but even the Bills this year haven't been all that amazing. In my opinion, like we said, the AFC was the way weaker conference this year. The NFC Championship game was whoever won that won the Super Bowl, and that proved it.
The Broncos game against the Patriots, I know it was snow, I know it was all that. A 10-7 game for an AFC Championship with those two teams, obviously I understand. Bo Nix gets injured, I understand that. But at the same time, both teams could not do anything. Their defenses were the only people doing anything, and part of the reason why the Patriots offense was so successful in that game, scoring 1 touchdown, was because of Drake May's legs. And there was none of that until the fourth quarter, when obviously the Seahawks are dropping back. It was just a mess.
It's great that you mentioned that fourth quarter bit because 5/6 of May's entire passing yards, 280 or whatever, 230 of them were in the fourth quarter in garbage time when the Seahawks were letting up. He was so clearly just confused. He was like Sam Darnold seeing ghosts back in 2019 or whatever it was. He didn't know where to put the ball. He couldn't escape the pocket because of the blitzes that you mentioned. I've never seen a quarterback so utterly lost in the Super Bowl. And at the very least, if he was forcing in, like, at least he's like, okay, he's taking shots. He's trying to make sure the Seahawks are on their laurels. They're actually playing defense. But then he just throws up the McDouble of the century to Julian Love, who takes it and runs it back.
I was going to say something about that because he was running a post. The post is a slant, basically a corner route to the outside. He throws it directly in the middle. And Chris Collinsworth was like, I don't know what to say about that. I was like, you can't because he just looked so just so flustered.
Yeah, I think if this game did anything, all it did was prove how good the Patriots defense was this season and how much they carried that offense. Because, like I said, their season, honestly, in my opinion, I think next year they're not going to be a good team. If they have a harder schedule and they don't make a lot of improvements, because they're not going to bring back Stephon Diggs, they shouldn't. They didn't really have a great wide receiver this season. So, I mean, Booty might have been their best.
Yeah.
When your best wide receiver's name is Booty, like, dude.
Now, you mentioned that. There was 30 of their players were first season additions, like Diggs, if we go like to Milton Williams on the defensive line, Matt Collins. Yeah, they're not going to be able to, one, retain all of those guys, and two, not retain the same magic that got them here in the first place with an injured Bo Nix, with a kind of lackluster Bills team the entire year. Lamar Jackson was injured, Joe Burrow was injured. The AFC North, or not the North, but just the AFC in general, it's going to be better next season. And is there room for the Patriots to be the top dog? I don't think so.
Real quick, we gotta stop putting Lamar Jackson in that threat category, because what is he, the AFC version of Dak Prescott, which you guys love to hate on?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw him in every episode. But no, seriously. But, okay, back to you mentioned the Patriots O-line. How terrible did they look in this game?
So bad.
Yeah.
Oh, Will Campbell, he needs to either do something over the offseason, lobotomize him, or put him at guard. Absolutely.
12 pressures. 12 pressures allowed. That's why Drake May was throwing McDoubles, as you said, to the defense. There's no reason to do that.
Genuinely, I'm watching this game and I'm like, is Will Campbell hurt? Because I'm like, where is he? And then I looked closer and he was right there getting destroyed. And that's a credit to that Seahawks defense.
Yeah.
That D-line with DeMarcus Lawrence, who I got to talk to. They're crazy. That's a, what do they call it?
The dark side?
The dark side.
Yeah. It's lame name, but
let's
it's not as cool as Legion of Boom, but they're
No,
definitely the second coming of the Legion of Boom for the Seahawks.
But let's not discredit the Patriots defense now, because the Seahawks offense throughout those first three, we didn't have a first touchdown score until the fourth quarter. Like, the Patriots defense was locking down. MVP freaking Jason Myers for the damn Seahawks.
Yeah, he should have been.
But the Seahawks offense, they played, I'm not going to say they played well, because you look at Sam Darnold, he had some throws that were very questionable. And like, for example, that Jackson Smith-Njigba touchdown early in the game. But I think the Patriots relied mostly on their defense, and their offense just struggled throughout the season. We kind of didn't get to see it, as you said, but we saw it in that Super Bowl.
I think exactly right. They played smart that game, the Seahawks offense did. They ran it to Kenneth Walker. They didn't try to force it down the field like May did in the second half. They played smart. They took their opportunities when they eventually came in the fourth quarter after they wore out the defense, and they took advantage there. Of course, their defense with the defensive touchdown with Devon Witherspoon, that was a very nice addition. But even without that touchdown, I think they're going to win pretty cleanly.
Yeah, I think for sure that Seahawks defense, they allowed the offense to play safe, like you said, just to rely on Kenneth Walker. And I can't blame Sam Darnold completely, because I feel like even his O-line was kind of letting up some. Yeah. That it didn't give him much time to throw, or made it difficult for him. Maybe he made some poor decisions, but it's definitely what we expected, though. The Seahawks, I maybe thought it would be worse. I thought the Seahawks would really blow them out. For that first half, it was like, dang, only 9-0. Like, this should be way worse. If they would have just scored, it could have been 21-0 easily. All right, so keep going with what you're saying.
The Super Bowl was kind of just lackluster in the fact that we were expecting, Drake May, obviously in his sophomore season, we usually see a bump up, but it was just not the homecoming he wanted. And I think there was so much hype around the Patriots because, as I said, Drake May, they played top defenses in the playoffs. But the Seahawks, they played the Rams how you're supposed to play the Rams. Man coverage, get in Stafford's face, and they were lights out on all phases of the ball.
My question for you guys would be, if we had to change the matchup this year of the playoff teams, what matchup would have made the Super Bowl entertaining and the best Super Bowl to cap off this great season?
I know it's a little illegal because I'm going to pick two NFC teams here. Literally the Rams and the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Rams-Seahawks Part 4 would have been one of the best games I've ever seen.
I'm going to say Bills Seahawks. I just think, our defense is garbage, but Josh Allen versus Sam Darnold, that's kind of like they're buddies too, and that's just an amazing.
Yeah, I would switch actually the Super Bowl champion out. I'd put the Rams and I'd put the Bills because the Bills struggling a little bit on defense.
Both of you picked the Bills?
Well, the Bills, I feel like from the AFC side, the Bills and the Jaguars were probably the two strongest, actual strongest teams. So I put the Bills and the Rams. We'd probably get a much more offensive game, not as great on defense, but it would have been entertaining, especially to cap off that great year. But that's all we're gonna have. Thank you guys so much. Sending it back to Maya.
Thanks, guys. And now that football season is over, your guys' turn is over. And now it's hockey. For those who don't know, the National Hockey League is actually on Olympic break. But before the break, the Buffalo Sabres were playing an absolute hot season. They went from the worst team in the league for the 2025 season, but then the team decided to fire their GM, general manager, Kevin Adams. And since that firing, they are now in 4th place in their division, and they are in a playoff spot. They're tied for the longest playoff drought in the Big Four: baseball, basketball, football, and hockey. Now, Kyle, we all know you're a Buffalo Sabres fan, but can you give us your most unbiased opinion on the Sabres? Are they the real deal, or are they phonies?
Thank you, Maya. I'm joined here with
Justin Young.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the GOAT, the greatest team of all time. The 25-26 Buffalo Sabres, who at the start of the season were regarded as one of the worst teams in the league. We were last in our division and in the league pretty much, but due to some certain great moves by our ownership, we are now in a playoff spot.
Yeah, you did so well. The great team that moved all the way from last in the division to 4th in the division. That's really something special.
Listen, it's a playoff spot. We're in wild card number 1. We take those.
I know you're a Buffalo sports fan and you're used to not experiencing any happiness when watching sports, but it's not that impressive. They had that big streak, but also they have 3 losses in the last 4 games. They're regressing to the mean.
You know, you look at those 4 games, they were against really good opponents. You know, you had the Canadiens, one of them. You had, the other team was the Tampa Bay Lightning, who are the 1st in the Atlantic Division. I just think, it's incredible. Like, obviously, I'm a Buffalo sports fan, as you said. I'm used to not making anything because the Bills suck. Let's be honest. We make it to the playoffs and we don't win anything. But I just think the fact that I might get to watch playoff hockey, I think I'm riding that high. I think.
No, for the first time in your life. And that is a big deal, especially because you're built with the 2 kind of younger studs with Tage Thompson and Rasmus Dahlin. There's also VGK legend Alex Tuck. He's topping the points list as well, just behind Thompson. But if anything, because of who your owner is, Mr. Terry Pegula, maybe a little Jack Eichel situation with Tage Thompson, do a little too good, send him out. I'm
gonna tell you this right now. If he ever leaves, now when he's just entering his prime, not only will I be upset, I will boycott the Sabres. You saw it right here. I will boycott the Sabres if we get rid of Tage Thompson, because I just think, you look at those young pieces that our team has. We have one of the youngest teams in the NHL, and they don't have that playoff experience. There's many teams that are better equipped for it. But I just think the story of how all those young guys, no one believed in us. They ain't believe in us.
Kyle did.
I did. But, I just think it's a testament to the NHL on those young guys that can just perform the best thing that they're doing. And, it's the Sabres. We've had so many number 1 picks. We've had so many first-round picks over the years. And I think it's kind of starting to come to fruition that we're kind of just going up in levels.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned those former picks. I don't want to bring up Owen Power to you. That might be a sensitive subject. But, yeah, yes, it's good. And it's great not only for the city of Buffalo, it's also pretty good for the NHL in general. Finally, one of your teams that's been kind of the doormat for every other team in existence is finally doing something. That's a huge feat. Now, will that translate to success this year? They might win a playoff series if they, puck bounces the right way. That's every hockey series. But they could be set up for the future of kind of a Josh Allen-esque type of reign in Buffalo. Yeah, so it's definitely super exciting.
I just think, hockey is one of those sports that it can go either way. It really is not, I get the seeding and, I get the players, but there's so much just risk involved in certain areas, and the reward is there. If you make this pass correctly, then it's just, you get rewarded for it. And I think that's the story of the playoffs, because you have a one seed going up against the wild card 2 seed. And I think we've seen it in the past. You know, we saw the Kraken beat the Colorado Avalanche, who were the Stanley Cup favorites one year, and we also see the President's Trophy go out because of the curse. But, you know, it's kind of just that's what makes the NHL the NHL. And I've said this, I probably will live and die by this. The Stanley Cup playoffs are one of, if not the best, playoffs in sports, in my opinion.
I definitely agree with you that they're not one of the best, but they're the best.
Yeah.
There is nothing that gets you more of an adrenaline rush than overtime playoff hockey. And I've been in my Game 7 overtime playoff hockey, there's nothing better than that. And I'm happy for you because you've never experienced playoff hockey as a fan. And not to say, because they haven't clinched a spot or anything yet.
Yeah.
But at the very least, they're showing signs of improvement, and they're not going to win it all this year. I think Tampa Bay, Carolina, from the East at least, will definitely maybe against a Colorado or something like that. But
I agree. Realistically, I would want a game. I just want a game in a playoff. Like, I know we're not going to win a series, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, but guys, what about the Olympic break? How do you think Team USA is going to perform?
So, obviously, we know the Olympics. We know how stacked each team is. We've seen all rosters, okay? And it puck drop today. We had Slovakia and Italy, right?
I'm unfamiliar with the game that started today because I've been, as you said, scouring the rosters because they got released recently too. And honestly, kind of similar to the Four Nations, I don't think anybody's beating Canada this year.
I think I agree. I think, you look at the U.S.'s roster, and I think there's a lot of talent that was left behind. I think, I don't know how Cole Caulfield or Jason Robertson do not make this lineup.
I completely agree with you. And another, not necessarily a weak spot, but their goalie spot with Jake Odinger and Colin Hellbuck, however you pronounce, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but this year, they have like a 2.7 GAA, but their save percentage hovers like right around the 90%, which is good, but not, I don't know if that's Olympic quality, be the starter of your home country type good.
And we saw it in the Four Nations. I think, the Four Nations was kind of a testament to kind of how the Olympics are going to go, because, you had the four, you had Sweden, you had Finland, you had Canada and US, obviously. And that Four Nations championship game, it did come up to goaltending, and Connor Hellbuck was just not as good as Jordan Binnington, who is getting the start again for Team Canada. And I just think Team Canada's roster is so much better. I mean, obviously, you have McDavid, you have Makar, you have McKinnon, you have all these guys, you even have Sidney Crosby. There's
Macklin Celebrini.
Exactly. Yeah. There's so much talent, and I think US kind of did a good game plan. They kind of went in the terms of physicality and like role guys with the Kachuk brothers, Charlie McAvoy. Yeah. And you still have the skill with Austin Matthews there, but I just don't think that the U.S. can beat Canada this year.
No, and the Four Nations, that ended in overtime, so obviously the margin is very slim between them, but I think it's kind of like a three-man race between Canada, USA, and then either Finland or Sweden, one of those two. Not both, but one of.
I agree with you, because that's literally the big four.
Literally, the Four Nations,
It's the Four Nations, and it just speaks volumes to how the NHL has grown, because you see young guys like Slafkovsky. I know he's a Slovakian, but he played in today's game, actually, as well as, Macklin Celebrini. You have just those young guys, and that just shows the rise that the NHL is having with those young talent. And who knows, bro? Like, we've seen Connor Bedard as well. And there's just a multitude of things that I think we're going to see in this Olympics that is just going to boost hockey just overall.
Oh yeah, especially this time of the year is the best time to be a hockey fan, because not only are NHL fans watching, everybody is watching, because it's the Olympics. So many eyes are on these teams, these countries, these players, that they're going to play hard. They're going to play to win. And with the Italian rinks being just a little bit smaller, it's going to be fast-paced. It's going to be fun.
And I just think that's why it favors Canada, because they just have so much speed. Yeah. But only time will tell. Hopefully, we just get to see some good games, some action-packed games. If it's anything like the Four Nations that we saw, it's going to be a movie.
Thank you, Kyle and Justin, but let's move on to the NBA world. The NBA is on the brink of a major decision that could reshape its entire future. After more than 2 decades with 30 teams, the league's Board of Governors is expected to vote this summer on whether to add 2 new franchises, potentially expanding the NBA to 32 teams. Wait, what do you guys think this vote is going to lead to?
Thanks, Maya. Going further into expansion, the Board of Governors recently just voted to go to a summer vote on whether or not to expand to 2 or more teams or to stay content with what they have. Let's start with you. What is your thoughts on the looming expansion potentially to Seattle and Las Vegas?
I mean, I think Seattle's a surefire pick. I mean, if you're talking about the history, people have been saying Seattle has been deserving of an NBA team for years now, long before, we were even thinking about expanding again. With the rich history they have over there, they still have that cult-like fan base down there in Seattle, and especially with, the new Super Bowl champions, the Seahawks, you're looking at a potential sports hub over there with the Mariners and the Seahawks, and now potentially the Supersonics back there again.
So we heard the Seattle side. Let's go over to our Vegas expert on Vegas expansion.
All right. So regarding this, I do have a few issues with it, mainly the fact that it's been made very clear that Adam Silver does not want to play at T-Mobile Arena. I mean, they've been able to use it for the in-season tournament. However, there were 2 arena projects. I think we're down to 1, and there's others that are in very preliminary talks. But we're looking at a potential arena slightly off strip near the Las Vegas sign. But with that one, my main issue is Seattle's ready to go. They have Climate Pledge Arena already ready to go. They did all the renovations, and now they just to host that NHL team. And because of that, they're just going to be waiting, which is why I think, what is Adam Silver going to do here? Because when you look at it, they could play T-Mobile, but if they're going to spend all this money, trying to build out a new arena, and they're trying to get the public funding for it, what does Adam Silver even do in that situation?
I think also you got to bring up how many arenas we already have in Vegas. When you build this brand new arena, you don't want it to just host basketball. You want concerts and business events, and let's just go down the list here. You got MGM Grand Garden, you got Dolby Live, you have T-Mobile, Allegiant Stadium, Michelob Ultra, and then the new A's Stadium. So that's 6, I think.
Yeah, could be 7.
Could be 7, and so that's a lot of stadiums that are both competing for concerts and business events and other sporting events alike. And then you have the Thomas and Mack, who host Summer League and UNLV games. And another question I want to pose to anybody who takes it is Nevada has publicly funded Allegiant Stadium, they've publicly funded T-Mobile, and they're publicly funding partially the A's Stadium. Do we think this deal happens if Nevada is less on the side of publicly funding? Let's say it would have to be privately owned 70-30.
Well, I mean, like I said, the lot's fully ready to go. They're just waiting on approval from the NBA, and they're waiting on an ownership group that will help with some of it. But I mean, they have investors just aside from what the NBA wants to do, just because they want to invest in a new arena. So a lot of this probably will be privately funded. You did mention that T-Mobile Arena did have some public funding. I believe most of it was privately funded though. So I think they could do a similar thing with this new arena. But yeah, like I said, it's just going to be a lot. But I mean, T-Mobile hosts a lot. They have the nights, they have the UFC, they have boxing, they have all the concerts. So it is a little crowded. It makes sense that they want an arena. It is just a lot to take in.
I think it just comes to the matter of how much is on the check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wait, you were talking about how they don't really know how much they're in on this A's ballpark for.
Yeah.
Right. So how much is that going to be? And then on top of that, now you want to build a new arena. I mean, if push comes to shove, don't you guys think they could just play at T-Mobile?
I think push comes to shove they will, mainly because, like I said, Climate Pledge Arena is ready to go. Seattle wants to have this team tomorrow. So it's yeah, push comes to shove, I think they will. They probably can work around the schedule. They probably can, just do an expansion draft. If LeBron retires this year and they already prove it, LeBron can just buy the team, which I mean is one of the rumored investors. So there's a lot of different options.
So looking kind of into the future, I want to hear your guys' pick for the team name. Let's say everything is approved and Nevada writes the check and it's privately funded partially. Let's hear what you guys have for the team name. First off, I have the Las Vegas Outlaws. It's been a pick for such a long time. I think it's a popular 2K fan build, and that's the name, is the Outlaws. What are your guys' pick? We'll start with you.
I mean, someone was talking about the mob in here earlier today. I think the Las Vegas mob will be the toughest name in basketball. at least that could be like the cult name that we have is the Mob. I think it just will embody the energy that we have here in Vegas and kind of, push it to the next level even.
Give me something gambling related. Give us a Las Vegas parlays. All right.
Parlays.
Give us a Las Vegas parlays. Let's get blackjacks. Wouldn't be that bad.
Blackjacks would be tough.
Or so you have like the Sixers, you have the 49ers, the 21sts
Yeah.
for blackjack.
Yeah. Okay.
Something like that.
You can't do the aces.
But
And
Aces was the perfect name.
I mean,
I think it is the perfect.
it's such a
Vegas
perfect
name,
name
yeah.
that the brother up north even had their AAA ball team named after it, and obviously the Las Vegas Aces.
Yeah.
So going into more of what's on the current agenda,
Right.
All-Star Weekend just coming up here. I think we got the celebrity three-point contest, and I mean Jared McCain, Drewski. We got such a lot of events happening. I mean, who are your guys' favorite picks, and what's your favorite event to watch on this All-Star Weekend?
I mean, longtime favorite of the dunk contest. Everybody loves the dunk contest. And Jackson Hayes, Laker fan, so Jackson Hayes is going to be my surefire pick to win the dunk contest. Will he? I hope so.
Ethan?
This went kind of under the radar, but the Shooting Stars competition is back.
Oh, okay.
They have 4 teams. I forgot which team specifically. I know they're not going to do the same thing where it's like they pick a WNBA player, a legend, and a current NBA player. I saw they had like a Team Spurs. They had, I think they had the Thompson twins on one of the teams.
Okay.
But I'm actually kind of excited about that, mainly because we haven't seen it in so long and they kind of just randomly abandoned it. Regarding that, three-point contest is always good. Dunk contest is always either the greatest thing in the world or the worst thing ever.
I couldn't agree more.
We haven't had a great dunk contest since, 2016? We've had good individual performances, but a good actual contest.
Okay.
We haven't seen that in a decade. Do I think this is the group to do it? Absolutely not. But, I mean, there's always an option. And then regarding the All-Star game itself, it's just a mess right now.
Yeah.
They tried so many different things. They went back to East-West. They did the whole draft thing, which kind of worked for a little bit, but not really. I just think this sport isn't really meant for it. I think we're going down the same route as a Pro Bowl, where we're gonna get to a point where just no one cares.
So you don't like, so it's 2, for those who are not familiar with this year's format, 2 USA teams and 1 world team. Of course, the world team, super stacked. I mean, if they were playing, you had Giannis, Jokic, Wemby, Shea. There was 4 players right there that seemed like the top of the MVP race. Do you guys like the format of USA versus World, or do you think you could try to go like USA, Canada versus World, or
You could do USA, Canada, Europe,
okay,
or something like that.
So you'd like an in-season tournament type of feel?
I think the All-Star game is purely prestige, and when we look back at it, we're gonna have 50 years of East versus West, and then like 5 random years of Team Curry versus Team Ron, and then now we're gonna have Team USA versus Team World. I'd honestly rather just us keep it as East-West. If they don't care, they don't care. Because at the end of the day, this game or this whole weekend is more just to help promote the game, help celebrate the players that do deserve that All-Star nod. But at the end of the day, even when you look back, yes, they had a bit more competition, but no one was really out there playing real defense until the 4th quarter, even back in 2010, 2012.
But I think if they were to save the All-Star game, I think USA versus World is just how to do it. I mean, you talk about the history, the pride that some of these guys still have, some of these older guys still have of playing. Like some of these guys are Olympic champions. You know what I mean? Their primary goal is to go out there and say, I'm not going to let the rest of the world beat me. So if they're going to go out and save the All-Star game, I think the USA versus World format is perfect, or USA Europe, the kind of format. But I think USA World is if it saves the All-Star game, like if anything saves it, it's going to be USA versus World.
I think a big thing we could take away from this, I think it was like the FIBA World Cup. I forgot, was it FIBA World Cup or Olympics, where it was a really close matchup between France, Canada, and the US. So I think if we play our cards right, you could just do a NHL type of situation where they have the 4-nation face-off, and that was a huge success. If they just get straight up, not just USA versus World, but USA versus Canada versus France versus Serbia, Greece. I think if you take like specific national pride into it, I think that's where you get a really good All-Star game. But the thing is, then you're not really getting the traditional All-Star selections.
Yeah. I want to add a little onto this, and this will be our kind of our last thought, is this could be a preview of in 2 years because it's USA versus World and it's in LA 2026.
Yep.
We go forward 2 years, we see the US Summer Olympics in LA 2028. So this could be a preview for what's to come, but that's all we have time for here on The Huddle. So thanks so much for watching for this basketball portion. Sending it over.
Thank you to everyone for your analytics. I absolutely adored all of your takes, and now I feel very up to date on football, hockey, and basketball. And thank you for watching The Huddle Season 2. I'm your host, Maya Perez, and I'll be seeing you next Friday. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at thehuddle.official and at The Huddle Show.